What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
UFC 244 just happened this past Saturday from Madison Square Garden. Masvidal versus Diaz for the BMF belt, the bad motherfucker belt. Excited for this fight. Good card. It was stacked card from top to bottom. Ton of finishes, ton of fast finishes. Main card had a few decisions, but they were still great fights. Disappointing. I mean, I like the belt. The belt wasn't disappointing. I enjoyed the BMF belt. Looks a lot like the new UFC belt, but has BMF instead of UFC. But still liked it. You know, had the 244 plaque on one side, and then 500 for the 500th UFC event that was put on. So it looked cool. The fight itself stopped a little premature. I mean, I guess Nate Diaz looked like somebody took a big bite out of his eye. It looked like there was a laceration above and below one of his eyes, and doctor ended up stopping it. Premature. I mean, I've seen worse than that as far as, you know, cuts and stuff. It didn't seem like it was getting in Nate's eyes at all, which usually is when they stop it, or if it's, you know, maybe their face is going to fall off. Sometimes they'll stop it then. But they ended up stopping it. I think Jorge was definitely winning. It was stopped in the third round, the end of the third round. Jorge was definitely won the first two rounds, and it was clear that Diaz was starting to come back in the third, which is pretty typical for Diaz to kind of start late. They said there's going to be a rematch. They both want a rematch, but I didn't watch the post-fight press conference, but I think Dana White said that that's not something that they're interested in doing, which Nate Diaz isn't surprised, motherfucker, that's the UFC is going to try and screw him again, even though he did create this belt. It's kind of a crazy situation. And The Rock was there to put the belt on the winner, which was weird. It was kind of like a alternate dimension kind of a situation at the fights. And then Trump was there and got booed. They didn't show him on the broadcast getting booed, but there's videos online when he showed up on the big screen in the arena that he was booed. Like, he's been getting booed everywhere he appears, which I absolutely love. Makes me happy that the MMA community, I'm sure there's a ton of Trump supporters in the MMA community, but, you know, with Covington being a huge Trump supporter, using that as his quote-unquote gimmick, he gets booed all the time, which warms my heart, and then seeing Trump get booed warms my heart that the MMA community knows what's up, knows that he's a worthless piece of shit. But yeah, so that fight it was a fun fight up into the first three rounds, but ended up getting stopped. Darren Till ended up getting a decision over Kelvin Gastelum. That was a close fight, but definitely a good one. Stephen Thompson looked great against Vicente Luque. Luque's been looking great. He's been on a run, just super well-rounded and tough and durable, but Thompson was able to put it together and it was a decision, but it was a unanimous decision. Derek Lewis against Blagoy Ivanov. Derek Lewis looked better. Didn't look like his back necessarily tightened up or anything like it's happened in the past, but he definitely looked good. Maybe a little bit too much just swinging for the fences instead of setting up shots. So it was, it was a good win for him. It was a split decision win for him, but, I don't know. It's I'm a big Derek Lewis fan, and it's kind of disappointing to see him not find as much success in the octagon as I'd like to see him have. Kevin Lee versus Gregor Gillespie was a quick first-round knockout from Kevin Lee. He's now at TriStar, training with Vrasa Hobby and, all of the GSP crew. Since they have similar styles, Rogan apparently recommended that he go to that gym to train, and it's turned out great so far. This is his first fight since being at that gym, and he looked great because Gillespie, undefeated up until then, just dominant wrestler, but ended up getting just head kicked to sleepy time up against the cage, which is a crazy knockout. The feature bout for the prelim, Corey Anderson versus Johnny Walker. Corey Anderson, I didn't know who's this is. I think this is more of a contender fight for John Jones, way more than Weidman. Like, the fact that somebody beat Weidman doesn't mean, like, it was his first fight at light heavyweight, and all of a sudden he's going to get a title shot for Dominic Reyes, which I like Reyes. Don't get me wrong. I think Reyes, Corey Anderson, and Johnny Walker are all fun 205ers, up-and-comers that I would... But this fight, Corey Anderson, Johnny Walker, I think was more of a contender fight, and Corey Anderson just put it to him. 25-8, put it to him. Overtime. And fast win, first round. Ref stopped it, but I mean, Walker wasn't doing shit. But yeah, all the fights were really fun. Yeah, just a lot of fun. Arlovsky probably should retire. Shabazian looked amazing. But yeah, just a overall fun fight. There was a fight in the catchweight fight, early prelims, Caitlin Chukagian versus Jennifer Maia. Chukagian is ranked number 1, so she's the number 1 contender in that division. But not impressive fight. She fights like she's a champ that already has the belt, and she's just trying not to lose. Like, she doesn't have any impressive. I don't think I think they're all just decision wins for her. Not that she's not good. Okay, she lost to decision. The last time she finished a fight was a knee in a previous organization, CFFC, March 2016. That was the last time, and only the second in her entire career. No, she has 3 finishes in her entire career. But everything, it's just like, that does not make an exciting fighter. And I don't think she would. Shevchenko will just steamroll her. So I don't know. I guess throw her in there, see how she does. But I'm not. It did not look like number 1 contender was in the ring or in the cage for that fight. But yeah, overall fun fight. I hope Diaz and Masvidal are able to fight for that belt again. I would imagine the UFC wants to put Conor McGregor in that mix, which wouldn't be horrible. McGregor versus Masvidal. I think Masvidal would win. But then you could have, McGregor and Diaz both coming off losses, and then you could get their trilogy. But yeah, Masvidal's looking great. But yeah, so fun card. I got wasted. I feel like shit today. I feel horrible, and I lost an hour because of the time change. So these podcasts are rough this week. But next week is UFC Fight Night. Magomedsharipov versus Calvin Kattar from Moscow, Russia. Zabit's been out for a while, but kind of an up and coming, fun, dynamic fighter, kind of like the dude that fought pretty recently. My brain's pretty stupid, but Greg Hardy is fighting Alexander Volkov. Hopefully Greg Hardy doesn't win and lose again. Hopefully he just loses. Would really just don't care about Hardy. Hope he loses. Hope he gets cut. He's dirty as shit. He's one of the dirtiest fighters I've ever seen fight in the organization, and he's being gifted better and better competition despite being every fight being dirty. He's dirty outside the fight game, and he's the dirtiest fighter inside the fight game. Dirtiest. So I really just don't give a fuck about Hardy. I hope he gets CTE in this next fight and gets cut. Send him to Bellator. He'll be the champ over in Bellator, I'm sure. But yeah, some fun fights. I'm not really familiar on a lot of these names. There's a lot of people from that side of the world, so I'm not even going to try and pronounce any of them. But the main event seems like it'll be fun. I mean, I'll watch it. I'll watch the main event, but it's not a card I'm super stoked. I'm actually looking forward to a break in fights. So many fights. I'm just exhausted from last night. Just too many beers. But that's it for this episode of the show. MMA's fun. Yeah. New episodes of this show come out every day. Subscribe on IGTV, YouTube, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Go buy my artwork over at inspireddisorder.com and save 25% when you use coupon code RTS for Ray Taylor Show. Follow me on social media at Ray Taylor. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out.